Hey everyone, I am Justin, and that is Kyle, and we are the Fantasy Football Upside. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football Podcast and YouTube channel. Hopefully you stay around, even though, give us another one of those, Kyle. Give us another one.
Yeah.
Hey guys, week 5 is here. We're happy that you all are watching us. We're happy football is back. We want to help you win that championship. Today, we're hitting you with our starts of the week, streamers of the week, and fades of the week. Check out our start-sit episodes from the last 2 days in the link above, Kyle Point, and the link down, Kyle Point. Boom. What do you got for me?
I don't know. I got to stop pointing at everything. I feel weird. It's very odd. All right, guys. So click that subscribe button and click that bell so you're notified every time we publish the podcast. Also drop a comment down there. Make sure you're asking us about your start-sit questions. We helped somebody out this week to avoid Scotty Miller by doing that on the Thursday night game. So make sure you're putting your questions down there. We'll help you out the best we can. It at least provides a new perspective for you potentially.
Yep. Shout out to EJ. I'm glad we could help you out. This is still free consultation, so maybe a little bit later it may not be free, buddy.
Yep. All right. So double check the waivers, guys. Make sure that you've seen who's been dropped. That's important, as well as picking up the guys that you're targeting. Some people are making some decisions with with games moving around. It's getting kind of crazy out there, right?
Yeah.
So make sure that you're watching that. Let's go ahead and dive headfirst into the shallow end here, Justin. Let's hit up some starts of the week. Who you have as your QB start of the week?
Deshaun Watson versus the Jacksonville Jags. I think he's going to come out on fire because he's going to be playing with the chip on his shoulder. Yeah, that's because they fired Billy O'Brien. Finally.
Yeah. I think maybe the chip's off the shoulder and he's just going to be like, yeah, I'm so happy I get to throw the ball.
Free.
Yeah. Deshaun is free. There we go. We got to do this every player, right?
Free.
Yeah.
I really think all the Texans are going to come out strong. I really do think, like, whenever a coach that is fired that is not liked by the players and maybe even by some of the other coaching staff, I feel like they come out on fire and they come out and want to prove him wrong almost. So that's why I think Deshaun Watson against that, rubber of a defense of the Jags, I think it's going to be a good one for him. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's also a divisional game, so they're always pumped for those sorts of things.
Yep.
I've got Russell Wilson versus Minnesota. I think this game's just going to be a shootout. I really do. I think that this is a week to have anybody in this game. To be honest, I think that it's going to be all around there. I even think Dalvin Cook's going to do good there. But Russell Wilson he's been lights out so far this year. There's a whole lot of talk about him for MVP. And I don't think Minnesota is going to stop anything there. They've got too many rookies on the back end. They've got people off the street on the back end.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much work for Lockett and Metcalf this week. It's going to be sick. So
there's a couple other names that may pop up here in just a little bit.
Yeah, just keep your ears open. All right, running back. Who do you have as your start of the week at running back?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus the Raiders. Raiders actually giving up the most points to running backs. And hey, guess what? The Eclair that we like to call him is on one of the best offenses in this league. Yep. And that is kind of different for the Raiders. I feel like they were really good against running backs last year, and something has dropped off for them this year. So I think that's just going to keep going steady. Clyde has had a couple dips here in his games recently compared to that first week, but
last week to buy low, man. Last week to buy low.
It is the last week to buy low because I think this is the week he's going to take off again, just kind of like week 1. Who do you have as your running back?
I'm going with James Robinson actually at Houston. And that's
another one that we just mentioned. Yeah.
It's a division game. He's continued to be an RB2 even in negative game scripts against tough defenses. Like it doesn't matter the scenario. He's the only guy in the league. I think he's gotten, I looked at the stat today. I can't remember. It was like 77 out of 88 total touches out of that backfield.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's like David Johnson, but Robinson's better at efficiency.
He had 5 of 6 targets to running backs, I think, last week as well. So that means, and he's second in the league in yards per reception among running backs right now. Third is Mike Davis. That's an interesting thing to know. Third is Mike Davis. So yeah, I think James Robinson he's the bee's knees, guys. And this is the week to have him. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I have kids. So all right, what do you got on wide receiver, Justin?
Adam Thielen versus Seattle Seahawks. We've already mentioned this game. It's going to be a shootout, folks.
Yep.
We definitely see an opportunity where he could get 10 plus targets. He's just coming off a game where he had 10 plus targets. He had 10 targets, 8 catches, 114 yards, and a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a very similar line as soon as week 5 is over. I think this is what it's going to look like for Adam Thielen against the Seahawks.
Yep. I would say Justin Jefferson's going to do well as well. He's breaking out there too.
Yep.
I'm gonna go cheat again. I'm gonna cheat here, and I'm gonna go back to the well and pick 2. I'm gonna take 2, and that
Are you double dipping?
I'm double dipping, but I'm double dipping into that
son of a gun.
Lockett and Metcalf guys versus Minnesota. Come on, this is gonna be a crazy. Like this game screams take the over. All over, right? Basically, any owned wide receiver in that game should be started, period. Like if you have a like Olabisi Johnson should probably get started. There is nothing about this game that says anybody's going to stop offense. Like the defenses are not, it's not going to work here. And Lockett and Metcalf are just, they're primed. That defense is not going to do anything against them at all.
Nope.
It's just not, can't handle them. All right, let's hit up tight end. Start of the week.
Well, if anybody's ever watched any of our episodes and heard me talk about this guy, it's George Kittle. And I definitely have some love for George Kittle. There it is. They're going against the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about a comeback game that he just had in week 4. I don't know, 15 targets, 15 catches, 183 yards, and a touchdown.
He probably knocked a guy or 2 over too.
Oh, he knocked over a lot of guys in just one catch. It was glorious to see once again. It was. Yeah. Whew. Okay, hold on. I'll come back down just a little bit. But
wait. I got something for that.
What is that? Elvin?
I just see that there's going to be opportunity again this week because they do have weapons, but there's a lot of people coming back from injury, just kind of like George Kittle. But you're talking Brandon Ayuk. He's been banged up. Debo Samuel. He came back last week. I think we even have a drop for Debo.
So, we do. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
We're just hitting all the drops. Now we're shoehorning too many in.
Too many drops. Well, when we start talking about the 49ers, we just drop a whole bunch in that one.
Yeah.
But that's why I think George Kittle is going to be really good this week. Who do you have for your tight end?
I have Hunter Henry going against New Orleans. It's at New Orleans, but hey, this game could be moved. It looks like it might move to Indy. If this game is moved, it does not matter where it is played. New Orleans still can't defend the tight end. They just can't do it. So
doesn't matter where it is.
Doesn't matter where it is. They can't defend that position. And Hunter Henry is just, he's been solid. I mean, he has been a little bit touchdown dependent, but that's fine. He's still getting touchdowns. So why not? Right. Yeah. And against a team that's the worst, I think, in the league against tight end. Whoa, I'm going to go there. I'm going to play that one. Yeah.
Going out on a ledge on that one. They're like, the tight end came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere, man. All right, let's go with streamers here, Justin. Let's hit it up. We're just doing QB, tight end, and defense because you don't stream running backs and wide receivers.
No.
You keep those guys as depth pieces. You stream kickers probably, but we don't talk about kickers because kickers swing their money or their leg for money.
Yeah, they are people, though.
They are people. We agree, Pat. They're people too. All right, Justin, who do you have as a QB streamer for this week?
Going back to the well, buddy. I have Kirk Cousins versus the Seattle Seahawks.
We did say
there are other games, right? There are other games, right?
I don't know. We didn't put Dalvin Cook or Chris Carson's name in this list.
Oh, somehow
we screwed up. Somehow we screwed up.
Kirk Cousins rostered in 29% of leads, so that means he is a good option for streaming. This should be a shootout. We've already talked about it. I'm hoping he gets to those 30 pass attempts. I know that's in today's NFL, that should be all day, every day. But even for Kirk Cousins, that is a bit of a stretch. But I think if he gets to 30 pass attempts with a decent rushing floor, I think that's going to be a really good streamer for you if you have someone on bye right now.
Yeah.
Like a Matthew Stafford.
All right. I'm going to go to the guy I've been talking about as a stash all week, actually. And that's Daniel Jones at Dallas. He's 34% rostered right now. Dallas has not got a good pass defense, guys. It's almost like Mike McCarthy's coaching that team or something. It's really weird. This is a get right game, in my opinion, for the whole New York Giants team. I think that this is one of those games where they've kind of weathered the storm and they've got a sweet schedule going the rest of the way. So I think that Daniel Jones is a solid play here. I think that streaming wise, you're always looking for, depending on your league, you're looking for a base number. And I think Daniel Jones is going to get that for you this week. It's a good opportunity. So go with Daniel Jones. Locked and loaded. Let's move on here to tight end.
Tight end, I have Eric Ebron versus the Philadelphia Eagles. 36% rostered. This is a plus matchup versus the Eagles. The top two wide receivers for the Steelers will play, it sounds like, Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson, but they are hampered by their own injuries. And Eric Ebron showed a little bit of connection week 3 because they had to do that bye week last week. But week 3, they showed that connection. They connected with a touchdown, and I think they're going to do it again with this kind of relaxed defense against tight ends. So fire them up. Who do you have for your tight end?
I am going back to the well, not to Seattle and Minnesota, but to the same one we keep hammering and people are not following, and that is Ally Cox. He's 37% rostered. I don't know how that's possible. He went from 10% to 35 to 37. This is a great matchup. This week, guys. He's a killer in the red zone. He's finished tight end 28, 10, 5, and 10. How is that guy only 37% rostered? That's
especially
insane.
A tight end.
Yeah. You just locked and loaded tight end 1. Yeah, why not? Let's just leave that guy on the waiver wire. Run and get him. Like, seriously, if you have a guy that you've been relying on, like even like let's say you got Hayden Hurst. This is a guy I would consider possibly replacing Hayden Hurst with. Hurst has been a back end tight end 1.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and he's only getting 5 to 6 targets. Ally Cox is getting 5 to 6 targets in the red zone. Right. So yeah, go get Ally Cox. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Defense streamer.
Yeah, I have the Denver Broncos versus New England Patriots, as long as they play this game, of course. But Denver, I'm slightly cheating on this one. I mean, they're available in half leagues. It's 50% roster right now. Cam Newton will most likely will be out for this week.
There's a possibility he's going to play. There is a possibility.
There is. But even with that, I think it'd still be a good matchup right here. And if for some reason Cam Newton is not playing, you get the likes of Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer. So that still just raises that up as well. So I just think I
think they're the 30th or 31st lowest points to the running back position in the league.
Really?
Right now? Yeah. They're like the best or the second best against the run. Right.
Gotcha. And that's what the New England wants to do most of the time. So I think this would be a good streamer for you that could be available in leagues right now. Pick them up.
Yep.
Who do you have as your defense streamer?
I'm going with Dallas versus New York. I know this sounds a little backward, right? I pick up Daniel Jones, but I don't think you're going to pick up both of these. But I think Dallas against New York's a good play. That is is an offense that is prone to some turnovers. They're low rostered right now. They're 37%. The over under is 54.5 with a 9.5 point spread, which roughly pegs New York at about 22 points based on what Las Vegas or bookmakers are saying right now. So that's a low point total, and if you toss in a couple sacks, a couple interceptions or fumbles, I think you've got a good baseline there for that defense then. So that's why I'm saying it's fine to go ahead and say that Daniel Jones could be a good streamer as well as Dallas, who he's competing against. All right, so let's move. I know it sounds a little bit backward, right? But it actually does make sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go move on here to our fades. These are the guys that we're saying are not going to have such great weeks, actually. So keep an eye on what they're doing. Let's jump right in with QB here, Justin. What do you have?
This is one tough one because, this guy's a rookie phenom right now. It's Joe Burrow versus the Baltimore Ravens, and it just has to do with the tough matchup against the Ravens. He's still a rookie, and I think the Ravens may make him look like a rookie when it comes to. We haven't really seen that yet for Joe Burrow, and I think it's going to be one of those things where they're going to throw a lot of different packages his way, a lot of different blitz packages his way, and if we've seen anything by the Bengals, they can't block. They can't pass block right now, so I'm worried about his safety.
I think what we can guess, though, also, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit.
Okay.
I think what we can guess right now is that it doesn't matter how exotic the blitz is, because it could be plain vanilla. It's still going to get there.
Okay.
Right. And so all season he's contended with people literally hitting him while he's throwing the ball, and he's still getting the job done. They're not winning. I'm not going to say they're going to win against the Ravens. And I'm not saying he's Pat Mahomes, who's the only one who's been able to do anything against the Ravens so far this year.
Right.
The Ravens pass defense is not what the Ravens pass defense has been in the past. I think people have a little bit of recency bias that's hanging over from last year. And that offense on the Ravens is not doing a great job right now. So I think that they're not going to rely on Burrow's arm as much as you would think. They're going to need it early. but then they're going to try to get Mixon moving. And once they do, I think that the Ravens are going to struggle here. And so they're going to be able to they aren't going to be able to blitz all the time. And so I think you're going to see Burrow standing up a lot more. That's my thought. I'm just offering a different perspective. It's probably wrong, but like I said, he is getting hit a lot. He knows what it is. It doesn't matter how exotic or difficult it is. He's getting hit, still throwing 300 yards.
Right.
So
who do you have as your QB fade?
I've got Matt Ryan versus Carolina. This is not a good matchup, and he might also be without Julio Jones. The talk is still at this point that Julio may or may not play, and I'm leaning towards won't, because I think other than Dan Quinn, nobody else wants him out there right now. And Dan Quinn wants him out there because he's about to lose his darn job, right?
Yep.
So I think that Julio is probably like, you're gone after this week. So I don't really, I don't think I'm going to go out there for you.
Yeah.
Especially because, he's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
This is not a good spot. Carolina has been pretty good against QB. So this isn't one that you want. And Matt Ryan's been struggling this year. It's not been a great year. We did talk about the volume of pass work that they would do. They are on that pace. It's just that he's not throwing accurately. It's really
the first couple of weeks were good, and then we've seen a drastic drop off after week 2.
Yeah.
For Matty Ice. Yeah.
So and again against good defenses, and that's where we are. Yep. All right, running back. What do you got?
Running back Melvin Gordon versus New England Patriots. Patriots give up the 7th least amount of points to running backs, and hey, Philip Lindsay's going to be back. He's practicing in full this week, which will definitely cut into his workload.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon's been getting a ton of work right now, and I just don't know if Denver wants to give him that much work moving forward based off his injury history. So
he's never operated as a bell cow.
He hasn't been able to. So I do think it's going to be kind of a split backfield, even with a little bit of Royce Freeman, sprinkled in there, which is just not good. But still, that's why I think it's going to be a little bit of fade. You're not going to get that workload that you've been getting used to the last few weeks with Melvin Gordon.
Yep. I'm going with Joe Mixon at Baltimore. I know I just talked about Baltimore with Burrow being actually a little bit less scary than people think, but with Joe Mixon, he's facing the teeth of that defense, and that defense is still solid against the run. There is not going to be a whole lot of running room. He did have that blow-up game, so there's going to be a lot of people rolling with Mixon in their lineup when they probably, if he didn't have that blow-up game, they benched him here, is what I'm guessing. So based on that blow-up, he's going to be in lineups. I hope you're facing him. I hope you're not playing him. But he's going to face a serious defense this week, and he's not done well against serious defenses so far.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to wide receiver. What do you have as a fade?
For fade, there's a guy that was just mentioned a little bit ago by you, and that's Julio Jones versus Carolina Panthers. He may play. We just don't know yet for sure. But he missed the second half of week 4 game. And if he does play, he's not 100%, folks. You could see that. And like you said, I don't know if they're going to take that risk, but if they do, don't count on anything. It's almost like what happened Thursday night game with Leonard Fournette. They dressed him. He was active. I never saw him on the field. So this could be something very similar where it's almost like emergency base whenever it comes to maybe they throw him out there on the red zone or something like that. But that's who I have as my wide receiver fade. Who do you have, sir?
I am going with, let's see here. I'm going with Terry McLaurin. And it's because at this point, I think maybe they announced their starting QB. I can't recall. Or I'm thinking of Miami already saying that Fitzpatrick will still be the starter. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Washington, it's still kind of up in the air. So it's a toss up between Kyle Allen, and it's not going to be Haskins. We know that much now. But it'll probably be Kyle Allen. I think that you have to depress Terry McLaurin's value a little bit because Kyle Allen is not going to throw the ball deep down the field like Haskins can. And I actually watched a good channel on YouTube that you guys should check out is the QB School. It's got what's his name? Journeyman around the league QB. I can't think of his name right now. But check it out, QB School. And he did a breakdown actually on Dwayne Haskins, and he demonstrated why Dwayne Haskins it needed to be benched and how he was putting the health of his wide receivers and tight ends at risk because he wasn't seeing throws. He was fixating on throws. He wasn't pulling the trigger. He had bad footwork where he was adding like a clear situation that needs one step throw. He was doing one step double hitch, and then he's getting hit while he's throwing behind the receiver, who then has to wrench backwards and then gets blown up. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Haskins needed to be benched, but he has a bigger arm than Kyle Allen, and McLaurin needs the big arm.
Yeah.
Like that's obvious. He needs the big arm to really bring that value. He's a wide receiver 1, but I think that this week you're going to be lucky to get wide receiver 2 numbers out of him. This is a good defense. They've been tough against wide receiver, and without a big arm, it's going to be really tough for him to get open.
Yep.
Because his speed is what does it for him. It's not his route running necessarily. All right, here we go. Let's hit up the last one here. That's tight end. Who you fading?
Mike Gesicki versus the 49ers. I mean, it's the 49ers,
Yep.
and they have been tough against the tight end. And he's coming off back-to-back 3-target games, man. This is tough. I mean, for
he needs to change his name. You got to change it to Mike Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stepbrother.
Yeah.
It is something where, I mean, this guy really was the darling. He started off the season pretty well, it seems like, and then just the back-to-back games of just some duds here. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and fade Mike Gesicki, even though I do like his name. Who do you have?
All right, I'm going with Austin Hooper versus Indianapolis. This is a very tough matchup for Cleveland in general, across the board this whole week here. I think that Cleveland's going to struggle. I honestly would probably toss OBJ in there a little bit because I think that this is going to be a really hard week for them. Austin Hooper hasn't been very good this season. He's only finished as a tight end once. He's not seeing the same volume that he saw down in Atlanta, and he's just not been as sure-handed as well. Justin tossed in a note here that I did know this, but I didn't think to bring it up, and that is that there is a slight bit of a plus for him, and that is that the number 1 player on that defense is out with a groin injury. That's Darius Leonard. Bobby Okereke is also banged up a little bit. So this backfield, this linebacker group, these secondary is getting a little bit beat up, which is to be expected, right?
Right.
But a defense that's operating as the number 1 defense, the backup to that guy is probably still pretty good.
And that's the thing, is he hasn't been ruled out just yet, but it does look kind of like that. So
I saw
Darius Leonard,
I saw something that said Leonard was ruled out. I thought I saw that earlier.
It's one of those things where he is based off of speed, and if you have a groin injury, I mean that's But that's our phase of the week for you all. Yep. Now we are throwing in these survivor picks real quick as well.
Survivor picks. Here we go. What do you got for me? Who are you picking this week?
I have the Dallas Cowboys. It's a 9.5 spread. They have the likelihood of winning by 79%. This is one that's kind of picked across the board a good amount. It's 28% of the picks across all platforms, but I feel like this is a really good one that you can throw in there and hopefully not have to think about it. So that's who I have, is the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Football Giants.
Yep. All right. I'm going to toss in 2 here. I've got 2 because there's 2 that I think are really, really good opportunities this week. Okay. And I think this is the last week to consider both of them, to be completely honest.
Okay.
And so I wanted to make sure that they're both there. And that is the LA Rams. They've got a 7.5 point spread, 75% likelihood of winning their game, and only 6% of being picked across the board right now on all platforms. So that does lead to a positive EV, expected value, of 101. But the team that I would probably lean more on right now is actually San Francisco. The spread there is roughly 8. It depends on what platform you're on. And so it's a 77% chance, just over 77% chance of winning, with only 5.6% pick percentage, and it leaves a positive EV of 1.04. And what both of these teams have going for them this week is that this is probably the last opportunity that I would even suggest picking them. And the reason I'm leaning more towards San Francisco is that they do not have a game in which they are favored by more than 3.5 points until week 14.
Wow.
So this is the week to pick them. It's San Francisco's week. And you can go with like teams like Baltimore or KC because they've got these big spreads and their chances of winning are really great.
Yeah.
San Fran's chances of winning are really great this week as well, but their chances of winning following this week are really trash. And in Survivor, you got to pick the team one time. This is probably the last time to pick them. Yeah. So All right, guys, that's it. That's it for us this week. We'll move on to
Yeah.
week 6 when you see us next.
Mhm.
We're going to toss the starts and sits for both episodes that we did for Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
And crazy week. And so make sure that you're checking those out, and you'll be able to make all the right decisions. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you're notified every time we publish the best fantasy football podcast on the internet. We will see you guys next time, and thanks for being a fan of the Upside. Bye.
See you guys.